Well, good morning. My name is Mr. Audrey, and I'm the art teacher at Kaleidoscope School. And today we're going to be learning how to make an angel out of clay. This would be a nice Christmas decoration that you could hang on a tree around Christmas time. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about the things we're going to need. We're going to need a little dish because we're going to be putting some water in it. A little paintbrush is always nice to have, and you'll see why. This is a skewer, and you can use anything that's got kind of a sharp tip, so you got to be careful. We need our clay. We need our angel. This is what we're going to be copying. Need something to roll with. Could be made of wood. This is actually a piece of what's called PVC plastic. It's what you use for your sprinklers. So if your dad has sprinklers or mom, they probably have some PVC pipe laying around. You can use a rolling pin. And the last thing is going to be a piece of material. This is canvas. You can buy it very cheap at Harbor Freight if you'd like. You could use just about any kind of canvasy type material. It doesn't have to be canvas, and you'll see why that is in a second. So let's get started. Try to get this done very quickly so you don't have to sit through the video too long. First things first, I'm laying out my canvas, taking my big chunk of clay. I'm just going to roll it around a little bit, press it together. Now I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to cover it with the canvas. If you don't cover it with the canvas, it will stick to your rolling pin. So you want to cover the canvas. I'm going to give it a little press, and I'm going to switch it around. Usually it will stick into the material once you've started working on it. And I've got a piece of flat clay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my skewer and I'm going to cut. I don't need that. I'll be using it though. That, and I'm just making this fairly nice and square. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing I like about clay. Actually, the more imperfection it has, usually, the nicer it looks. So I'm going to start to roll my clay. And actually, what we're going to do before we even do that, we're going to get a little water. And I don't need much. Take that, and I'm just wetting the clay lightly. I'm not painting it, I'm just wetting it. And we're going to roll. What we're trying to do is make a little triangle, right? Kind of like her. Same concept. Here we go. Now I'm going to take my skewer again. I'm going to just go ahead, and you could even use a knife if you've got a knife. I just didn't bring a knife with me. And I cut off the bottom. I take her. I'm going to press her down a little bit and try to find that point where it stands up. This little seam right there, take a little water on your finger if you'd like. You can smooth it out. And can make a good tight connection where the clay fits together nice and neat. Sometimes you can even make it almost disappear. So, now we've got the body of the angel. I'm going to take the head area. I'm adding a little water to that. Folding it over. And that's all I'm doing. She's getting close to being done. Like I say, these look really neat on Christmas trees. You put the date you made it on it, and you've got something to show years and years down the line. What you did over the summer of the coronavirus. So now I'm cutting out a wing. So I had a little leftover material, that flat material. I just cut out one of the wings. That's going to go on the back, and I look at that and I go, you know what? I think that's a little too big. So we're going to change that. I'm going to make it a little smaller. So I just cut off that little bit of material, and I look at it and I go, I could use that. I want the same wing. Do I have to have the same exact wing? No. Again, that's why I like clay. And I'm going to just cut really the best I can to make it as close as I can. I'm using one to trace the other. Now we're going to score. This is called scoring. That's going to be the front of the angel. I'm just scratching the clay. It's another term. It's called scoring the clay. And we're going to do the same thing. And it's not, doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just putting little shallow scratch marks. I'm going to add a little more water to my water bowl. And again, you can use the brush and brush it on. A lot of times you'll see me just dip my finger in there, and I just slide the clay on, and I'm sliding it on. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to just rub the clay to where it all comes together. And if you can see that, we're going to flop the wing over. I'm actually going to put a little water on the inside as I look for the next wing. And again, we're going to put a little water right there. And we're going to put this wing on. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to work it in there a little bit the best I can. Getting some wings there. All right. Could make a butterfly as I'm looking at this right now, with what we've got going right now as well. I'm going to put some water right there as well. I'm just rubbing the clay. And it takes a little patience, a little bit of time, but you can get it. And it's really well worth it. So you can see what that kind of looks like now. And I can put the wings any shape I want. I can make them like that. I can make them flat. I can do whatever I would like as long as I can keep it stuck to the angel. Is it looking like an angel so far? What's missing? Let's see what we can come up with. I'm adding a little water to the feet, to the base, where it stands up to try to keep that clay together. All right, next, I need a head. Probably one of the easier parts. Put our little angel up there so you can see. And I look. I go, I think that's not a bad size. So I'm going to take a little water. What do I need to do? Scratch, scratch, scratch. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Does it have to be pretty? Does it have to be perfect? No. It's the best part of it. And I just take it, I'm going to twist her head on. Almost like I'm screwing it on. But we're not. All we're doing is mixing the clay and the water as we twist the head. So we do that. Now, not looking bad, but what's missing? Her arms. We're going to do arms different than what we see here. I'm going to put this clay aside because it's kind of dry now. It's been sitting out here in the weather. And we're just going to get another piece of clay that's not quite so dry. And we're going to roll it out. See if we can get a better job doing that. And I'm looking at the size of my angel and I'm trying to figure out, do I want very big arms? Probably not. So I look at that and I go, that's not a bad looking size. And I'm even looking at this clay, it's getting a little dry. So I'm adding a little water. Hey! We knocked over our angel. And I'm just gonna go. I got my two pieces. I'm gonna grab my angel. Now I'm gonna look where I want to put her arms, and I'm scratch, 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 score, 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 right on the sides there. Same thing with the arm. Take a little water. I can even just dip that in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm just gonna run that arm. There's arm number one. Ooh, does that look right? Looks like a long arm, but we're gonna leave it for right now. And we're taking our water again. Same spot on the angel. Dipping my little end in there. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm just taking it with my finger and I'm just smoothing it out to where you can hardly even tell there's two different pieces of clay. Not a very good looking angel. But if we take our little pieces here, and we're going to bend them up, and we're going to pull them apart, I'm going to go, okay, do those arms look good? Or do they look too long to you? I think they look too long. I don't have to do much. I just go and pull a little more clay off. Ooh, that's looking a little better. So I'm going to take my two arms apart. And to be honest, right here, I probably won't be scratching and scoring. I'm just simply going to go, put the arms together, and wipe the water together. And it will do fine. Attaching the head, you have to do it. Attaching the wings, you have to scratch. But some of the little tinier pieces, you can get away with it sometimes, but don't get upset if it comes out and it didn't stick together, because you're taking a shortcut like Mr. Audrain did. But it's hard to score these little arms sometimes and keep them all together. So if you do give them enough water, it usually will stay together. So there's the back. That's the front. Now, if you wanted to put some eyes on it, you take one end of your skewer. I generally don't put eyes, nose, and mouths and things like that. My stuff is a little more, it's called abstract. For example, I make chess pieces. Now this guy's got some eyes, but they're square, they're not quite. This is actually a Pablo Picasso copy, if we will be studying about Pablo Picasso. And this one right here, this is a queen for one of my chess sets, and this is compliments of Salvador Dali. And you'll be hearing about Salvador Dali. His stuff, his art is not a copy of normal everyday life. It's kind of his vision of normal everyday life. So we'll be learning about Salvador Dali's stuff and Pablo Picasso's. They're two of my favorites. But I make a whole chess set with those pieces. You could make an angel chess set. I've never done it, but you can do that. I'm a big fan of chess, you'll find out. So there is your angel completed. Got your wings. Now to make it be able to hang on a tree, I take just a little piece of clay. I flatten it out. I take my little skewer and I just poke a little hole. And anybody have an idea? What is this going to be? Right? We want it to hang on a tree. So we've got to have some place for the little wire to go through. This piece does have to have the scratch, 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 because it's going to be holding up all the weight. And I scratch a little there, a little on that side, a little on the back of her head, add a little water, add a little water, and we take it and we give it a little twist as we put it on there. Just so we've got that little place. We're going to run that stick through there one more time, make sure there's no clay blocking it. And if you do it, it actually kind of looks like a little bit of hair. If you do it right. Twist that head on a little bit more. So now I've got a place to put the little wire to hang this on the tree. So that is it. If you picked up the clay from us, either at the school or pick it up at your local ceramic shop, and I'll have information on those ceramic shops around town on my website, then you can take this once it's done, have it fired, turn it into something that's a little hard, then you can put a little coat coloring on it, and you've got your piece. So right now, this would be the project on how to make the angel.